Haiti will hold its long-delayed presidential and parliamentary elections on November 20, electoral officials have announced. The first round in both elections, due to be held last week, was postponed because of Hurricane Matthew. The country has been in political limbo since the polls in 2015 were scrapped because of violence and fraud. Meanwhile, UN Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon will visit Haiti on Saturday. This comes as it was revealed that only 5% of $120 million, £98 million, requested in a UN appeal had so far been raised. Haiti says more than 1.4 million people urgently need humanitarian aid in the wake of Matthew. The new election date was announced by Leopold Berlanger, who heads Haiti's Provisional Electoral Council. "We want to be able to organize elections in all regions for all citizens, especially at the presidential level," he said, adding that the second round of the presidential poll would be staged on January 29. "We want to organize credible, transparent, and democratic elections. We cannot organize elections that will be contested," Mr. Berlanger said. President Michel Martelly left office in February. The parliament later elected interim President José Lermay Privert, but his mandate technically expired in June. Last year's presidential elections were cancelled after the first round in October, amid opposition protests over alleged massive fraud, a claim later confirmed by electoral officials. Ahead of Mr. Ban's visit, his spokesman Stéphane Dujarric appealed to donors to provide more aid for Haiti, the poorest country in the Americas. He said Mr. Ban would travel to one of the worst affected towns, Les Cayes on the southern coast, and meet Haiti's political leaders and aid workers. Some 120,000 homes were either damaged or destroyed when Category 4 Hurricane Matthew swept through on October 4 with winds of 145 miles per hour, 230 kilometers per hour. Mr. Ban has called for a massive response to help the country. But Mr. Dujarric said only $6.1 million had been raised from the UN's appeal to cover work in the country for the next 3 months. He also said there had been a number of security incidents involving humanitarian aid, including one in which peacekeepers opened fire to disperse a crowd trying to loot a convoy. Carlos Veloso of the UN's World Food Programme, WFP, told AFP news agency, "Unfortunately, there are people trying to take advantage of humanitarian efforts and we have lost food to theft." A Haitian motorcyclist was also reportedly hit and killed by a UN lorry in the coastal town of Saint-Jean-du-Sud on Thursday. Power, transport, and communications links are still difficult and the threat of an extended cholera outbreak remains. Commenting on the rapid rise in suspected cholera and acute diarrhea cases, Mark Vincent, UNICEF representative in Haiti, said, "This is everyone's worst nightmare." Less than 2 weeks after the hurricane, cholera may be spreading in areas where it previously barely existed and diarrhea is preying on already vulnerable children. Immediate action is essential. Mr. Privert has said famine could take hold within 3 to 4 months if the situation were not managed properly. Mr. Veloso of the WFP added, "Many people I have met are surviving by eating fruit from fallen trees." Separately on Thursday, the UN Security Council extended the mandate of the UN's MINUSTAH mission in Haiti for another 6 months, until April 2017.